Hi everybody, it's Debbie Busby with One Spool Designs, and I'm making a little video here to give you some tips and techniques on stuffing. First off, the tools I use. Chopsticks. Everyone's heard of these and has used them probably to stuff something in their life. I've used these for years and years, stuffing dolls and things like that. But once I discovered this other tool, I haven't even used the chopstick now for years. But I like to use hemostats. Hemostats come in different lengths and are very handy when you go to stuff something. Takes a little bit of getting used to maybe at first, but once you use them, you won't want to use anything else. I usually just use my long ones for everything. I don't go to short or long. Just one pair is good to have. So when you use these, it's important to know how to hold them, because it can be frustrating when you're first trying and going, I can't get these to work. So if you hold them with your thumb and your index finger, you're not going to have as good of control using them as you would if you use your thumb and your ring finger and your pinky. Shove them in there and use them like that. That way you have these two fingers to control and have more stability when you're using them. So no index finger and thumb, but thumb and ring finger and pinky. That's how I hold my hemostats when I use them. Now, hemostats also, if you click them tight, they'll lock. So you don't want to click them tight while you're stuffing. You want to keep them free moving like you would a pair of scissors. So the first little project I'm going to show you is stuffing a little square pillow. So instead of sewing around my project and leaving an opening here, stuffing it and trying to sew this little opening closed, I like to sew all the way around my project and cut a slit in the back side of my project. And then I can turn it right side out. And you can use your hemostats also for this. Help push your fabric through when you're turning things right side out, and push your corners out with the hemostats. You just hold them and work on them. And I find that sometimes I even hold them when I'm doing that with just my thumb and my hand around them, just kind of gripping them. And I keep this finger, index finger, straight, or use it for stability. So pushing it out so you can stuff it. Okay, so that's turned inside out and it's ready to be stuffed. So at this point now, I would take my hemostats and I would grab hold of some stuffing. I usually keep my stuffing in a bag, just down in my lap. But so you grab a little bit. This might be too much. Just a little bit of stuffing and hold on to it and push it in here. Let go, push it again. So each time you're coming out, you're grabbing it again and pushing it in where you want it to be. So grab some stuffing, hold on to it, push it into where you want it to be. So that's the nice thing about these, is instead of the chopsticks where you're just pushing, you're actually being able to hold on to the stuffing and pushing it into the areas you want it to go to. So you grab some more stuffing and push it in, opening, holding and pushing, opening them up and grabbing it and pushing it where you want to go. So I just kind of work around in a circle, continuing to make it so it's all kind of evenly spaced and evenly filled. You don't want to overstuff these pillows too much, just kind of so they're even all the way around, depending on what your project is for. So that's what you do with the hemostats. You just keep putting them in. So once it's closed and stuffed how you want it to be, to close this opening, you're going to just do a little whip stitch, close that little opening shut. And then I cut a little piece of wool about 1 inch wide or so and a little bit longer than the closure. And I whip stitch that in place, just like that. So it would look something like this when you're done. Okay? So just like these little projects. Sometimes I like to put little cross stitches on this. Sometimes I've put like a little word with embroidered love on it, or home, or something like that. You could put buttons back here. But that's a fun way to close up a little pillow that you don't have to worry about sewing this little part here shut. So that's how I do this little pillows like this. Now, if I do a project like this, where it has a gathering on it, you're going to gather it and then stuff through the top of it. I recommend that you do a running stitch around your project and that you have your threads here on the outside of your project. Don't have them on the inside where you're going to stuff. So when you start your running stitch, this thread, I left it a little bit too short, but you want a nice long thread so you can gather it all the way around with a running stitch. And then you're going to pull up on these threads to start gathering it. And so that's why you want these threads on the outside. You don't want to have to fight with them being on the inside of your project. They'll be on the outside. So once you have it gathered a little bit, you're going to grab a little ball of polyfill here and just hold on to your threads here and push it right down inside there and start gathering as you go. Put a little bit more in there. Just work it in with your fingers. And I'm holding this, I've got this wrapped around my finger for security so it doesn't slip out. And then once you have a little bit in there, you don't want to overstuff it at this point, but once you have it in there, you're going to tie your thread like you do for your shoe first thing and pull that shut, okay? And I again twist it around my fingers, just gives it an extra hold. And then once I have that done, I twist the project around several times, turn the project so that it's turning the thread and causing it to, it allows it to hold it a little bit better for you to finally tie your knot. And it's not just that one tie and then it slips out of your fingers. So twist the, so here again, I'll show you, you undo this. Let me show you this here. So you've put your stuffing in there and now you're going to pull your gathers shut. And then you're going to tie this thread like this. Whoops. Just like that. Tie it tight and then wrap it around your fingers. Twist your project so it helps you hold that thread. So now you can tie your knot. I usually put my pinky there anyway and then tie your little knot. So now it's in a knot. So now, once you've got that done, I kind of hold on to this in my hand. I'm going to grab some more stuffing with my hemostats and finish stuffing it through this hole right here at the top where we gathered. So now I can just continue filling this up until it's nice and firm because this is going to be a pincushion. So you grab and sometimes I kind of twist it and get it in there because this I want it to be, like I said, really firm. So at this point, you could also clip off these threads if you want to, so they're not in your way. So grab some more, just grab little bits of polyfill like this and hold on to it until you get it in where you want it to be and push it in. Push it all the way in until you can't see it anymore. And then get some more and push some more in. So you want this to be nice and firm. So that's how you do a little project like this. Now, when I made these, I filled these with sand. So I did the same thing. I had my little running stitch here. I pulled it up tight. I filled it with sand. And then once it was filled, I took some polyfill and I put in there also to kind of hold that sand in place while I put my little green top over the top and closed it up. So that's nice and firm. You can also use like walnut shells, things like that. But this is going to be a pincushion and it's going to be nice and firm. So like I said, sometimes people ask me, is this firm enough? And I'm like, nope, stuff it some more. Just keep putting it in there. So I hope that helps. And you're able to get the chance to use hemostats. Don't get frustrated with them. Give them a chance because they really are very, very handy to have and use. I sometimes even use them for like pulling my needle out of things when I get it stuck and I can't get a grip on my needle. I just grab these and pull it. So those are my tips for stuffing. And I hope you have lots of fun and have a good day. Bye, guys.